Welcome back, everyone, to Monster Monday. We are on session 9 already. It feels like it should be more, but also at the same time, feels like a lot less than I would expect, given we're already in April. We return to the party having last session sadly, for some party members, left dissatisfied with the situation and the combat. However, last session the party would join Ultimus in their mission, totally necessary. Independent contracting mission that didn't have a requirement of bringing the entirety of the mercenary company. As the party would follow Ultimus into the woods to a spot where that had been cleared away to start building what the party could only assume at the time was some sort of siege equipment. However, unbeknownst to them, a massive goblin army would be spotted below the cliffside that they had been hanging out on, seeing the hundreds, if not thousands, of tents scattered throughout the forest canopy. The party looking down would kind of prepare themselves eerily looking, expecting a fight as some sort of creature in the distance would seemingly pull the cliff out and create a ramp for the unending goblin horde that would about around this time start to take notice. Though due to some quick thinking from the party's tank, the party would manage to promptly burn and destroy a massive portion of the army, causing it to retreat, and those few that would come up to barely manage to get up halfway up the cliff before being killed with the help of a compatriot that the party had really no idea of who they were or what their mission was. We come back, though, after the party had managed to wrap that up with the death of hundreds, if not thousands, of goblins, a newly built catapult, and a full night's rest. The party comes back to the morning, the day after. Ultimus and Neff nowhere to be seen in the camp. Some of the guards mentioning to you lot upon awakening, specifically to Doots, that the two had headed off to scout out the location and plan out the coming battles. And thus giving you and the rest of the mercenary company pretty much the day to do with as you please. As you all wake up inside your tent, kind of hearing this from the guard, I imagine Dude's kind of getting the overall. The three of you find yourselves kind of enjoying the light rain that's starting out the overall cloudy sky in the background, the slight chill in the air, Tunathy Tun, still seemingly asleep, snoring away.
All right.
What would y'all like to do?
Well, I would like to head into town, preferably to potentially shop around, see what I can find,
Okay.
and see what other gigs we can potentially do to make some money.
I will go with Dukes.
Okay. Gygax, I assume, chases after Melvin.
Yes, and I say to Melvin, so how is your funds?
Give him a second, he's on mute.
I have 5 gold.
No, you don't. I have your 2,500 gold in my pocket.
Oh. Well, then that plus 5.
As Melvin kind of smiles over at you, kind of innocently, what would y'all, as you stood about the tents, the kind of darkness, the dark skies causing much of the light to be kind of drowned out in here, what would y'all like to do? Said heading to town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright. Dudes, as you, Melvin, and Gygax start heading up to the eastern gate, coming through it, you see the guards kind of eye you lot up a little bit apparently. You can see almost the slight disgust on their face as the two kobold dragonkin look over at you. As you kind of pass through, many of the people seem to give you, not a wide berth, but seem to give a little bit of space as Melvin seems to walk about, or, well, they're float about, You start to see a couple of the merchants start shouting to get your attention here and there. Some of the locals seem to kind of eye you all up warmly and kindly as the music continues on. Even though the storming weather seems to, or the light rain seems to be kind of causing a bit of a dreary scene around town. The town still seems as lively as ever, as if it was celebrating something. What kind of shop are you looking for, or where are you looking to go, Doots?
So I want to ask the party, how are we doing on rations?
I eat whatever I want that's around me.
Oh yeah, I forget. I'm the only one that has to eat.
Well, you and Tun Tun, but Tun Tun's sleeping with all of his donuts and eclairs and pastries and everything. So, yeah, it's just you.
So I would like to go and potentially check out a magic item shop and perhaps somewhere where I can get some rations.
Alright, yeah. As you lot kind of start heading into town, coming down this like T intersection, about halfway towards where the main intersection comes to, heading up towards the palace, you find a couple of magic shops. You see the Golden Flame, or a sign that has the Golden Flame on it, as well as the title below it. It reads Magic Item Expose. The Kinky Buckle, which seems to be a bit further in town as you kind of look about and walk around. It looks to be a magic armor shop as you see people kind of going in and out, picking up armor off of stands and such. And the last one that you catch the eye of as you look about town is the Brand and Boil, which seems to be a weapons shop, a smithy, if you will.
Okay. Well, I can't admit my interest is piqued about the Kiki Buckle. I think I'll check them out last, so I'll go with the first option.
The Golden Flame. Alright.
Yeah.
As you head over to the shop itself, although it looks almost unremarkable from the outside, as you walk up to the door itself seems to be almost the height of an adult red dragon, easily allowing each of you to clear for one of the few buildings that seems to be naturally built for taller people, though none of you seem to have the same height that many of the other parties share. The building itself, though, only stands out for its simplistic stonework and the runes carved into the shop. As you look about the stones themselves, do any of you happen to read Dwarvish?
No.
I assume Gygax does. You do?
No.
Yes.
Gygax does. All right. Gygax, as you look over at the magical writing, it slightly glows, catching your attention as you look over at the stones. You read in Dwarvish, "For those blessed by the stone, may you walk the world as you wish."
Can you type that to me, please?
Mm-hmm. I'll put it into the chat. There. The exact translation.
And I read it out loud.
That is the exact translation, to be fair. Yeah, as you read this out loud to the rest in common, the rest of you hear this, seeing the runes kind of slightly light up. The building seems to give a slight glow, but nothing else seems to happen. As you enter in, though, you see a young curly-red-haired, gray-eyed snow dwarf that seems to come running up almost immediately, introducing themselves. They put their hand out towards you, Doots, and smile even towards Melvin. They introduce themselves, saying, "I am Bally Greybelt. Don't worry about the clan name. I promise you, my work is just as good as any other dwarf."
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Doots.
He shakes your hand quite aggressively, and as he smiles up at you, he looks over to Melvin and goes, Do your tentacles shake?"
Sometimes.
He kind of pulls his hand back at that, and then looks at Gygax and just shakes his head slightly, putting his hand back into a glove.
I
As he
start
sh-
shaking the tentacles at him.
Go ahead.
As
Good.
he shakes my hand, I look at his belt. Is it gray?
It is.
Okay.
It is made of a gray leather. He seems to wear a very bright, almost noble-like red coloring of clothing. Much of it looks to be fine silk, and looks to almost kind of lightly flow on the young man's body. As he smiles over at you, Doots, again, kind of eyeing you up. You get the sense that he seems to be kind of appraising you. As he kind of smiles once more warmly and goes, how may I be of assistance? I make any sort of magic items, wondrous items. What are you looking for?
I'm wondering if you would happen to have in stock or can make me an amulet of natural armor.
You know, it's funny. We just had a bunch come in. A giant troll came by and sold me a few. If you're interested, we've got a couple of +1s in. And he kind of smiles. In fact, I've got like 4 of them. If you're interested, I'm selling them for about, let's say, 3,000 gold pieces.
Can I sense motive to see if he's trying to upcharge me?
Sure.
23.
Yes. In short, it does definitely see, you, as you look at the item, I mean, you'd have to do an appraise to get a clear understanding of if this item is, worth more or worth less to how much. But you get the sense that, yes, he is definitely trying to upcharge you. You can see the slight greed in his eyes as he, as he kind of smiles at you.
I'm not great at these, but I will attempt an appraisal.
Alright, go ahead and roll appraise.
I got a 19.
Let me see something real quick. You are with the 19. Okay, yeah. As you look at the item for a second, looking it up and down, it takes you a moment to truly get a grasp of the item. It's made of some fancier metals. Nothing in it kind of sticks out to you, but something catches your attention with as you look at the others. They all have blood on them. Goblin blood. Things start to click a little bit in your head, Doots, as you realize where these natural amulets came from. You're pretty sure that you could probably go outside the city and hunt one down off of a body if you wanted. Just as easily as buy one. But otherwise, you are unsure how much it seems to cost.
While I appreciate the offer, it seems I will or I'll have to find another means of getting it. Thank you for the opportunity, though.
He shrugs his shoulders and he goes, well, not every sale's a winner. How about you over there, Mr. Squiggles? And he looks over at Melvin. I imagine Melvin's kind of thinking and looking at some things. I did hear Melvin for a second get distracted, so.
Best I can do is 100 gold.
Kind of.
I will telepathically tell you that be careful. He is going to try and upcharge you.
I reply, that's why I led with 100 gold.
He kind of looks down at Gygax, realizing how broke Melvin is, and goes, and how about for you, young, individual?
I'm Gygax.
Nice to meet you, Gygax, as he smiles. You see a slight golden tooth on one of his front teeth as he does so.
What does your store specialize in?
Mostly wondrous items. I've been kind of pushed out of the armor and weapon selling business. We do custom items here as well. Many people come in here asking to sell materials and such and have it turned into custom-made items that help them on their day-to-day. Stuff like that. I recently bought this pitcher of dwarven make as he kind of pulls a wooden pitcher off of a shelf and goes, it refills with water once a day. It's quite handy. I bought it off of a Toth merchant that came through just this morning.
No. Do you have rings or amulets?
I do sometimes carry some, but if you're looking for more of rings and amulets, the Chisel and Cut Merchant Guild is probably the best bet you're gonna get. Oros used to be probably one of the best magic like wizard item makers. He does rods, rings, staves, though. He's recently been more into a racketeering and loan sharking business. I don't know how much you're gonna get out of him these days.
Where can
Okay,
I
okay.
find
How
him?
about 200 gold?
He doesn't even acknowledge Melvin as he looks back to Gygax, or continues looking at Gygax.
Where can I find Oros?
Back towards the western gate, you'll see a run-down looking guild and shop. You'll be able to pretty much tell from that.
What's it called?
Chisel and Cut.
Oh, and my brother, he said he can offer, and I say this all in Dwarvish. My brother said he can offer you 200 gold for the item you're trying to sell him.
Oh, I heard him as he continues in Dwarvish. He looks back up at Dutz and goes, is there anything else I can be of assistance with? As he kind of gives a slight smile now, realizing that you lot are not the big fish he was hoping for.
Would you happen to be able to point me in the direction of a potion shop? Somewhere that sells health potions?
You can probably either get that, well, given your party's appearance, I'd recommend the Humble Horde Adventuring Guild. Otherwise, the Breathless Spirit, the inn in town, is probably the only other place I know that sells potions.
Well, thank you.
He nods and kind of with the realization in his eyes that you lot aren't really here to buy anything else, he just kind of sighs and goes back behind his his table. Continues kind of tinkering away at some golden contraption that kind of, you see a little iron bit that pops out. It looks to be like shaped like a gear of sorts.
Well, where would you like to go to first? Handle the potions or handle that armor?
Well, there's armor, weapons, potions, and magical rings, so we got options.
The name already escaped me.
What, for the potions?
You said it was like, no, not the potions. The crumble and cuts. I think you said, DM.
Chisel and Cut.
That's it.
Oh, for
shall
the
we try?
rings and stuff?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, shall we try there first?
Sure.
Alright.
All right.
As you turn heading back out of the shop, you hear a sigh from the young dwarf as you leave. Kind of heading down the main street, people continue to try and catch your attention with little bits of food as street merchants seem to be trying to sell any kind of goods. You see a very short dwarf kind of walking around with a very interesting leather mask that has strange like glass for eyes. As he kind of walks by, looking at you a lot for a moment, just kind of shrugs and continues on his way towards the palace. But as you lot kind of head around the side, or back down the T-junction and head down towards the West Gate, you see the run-down building, a two-story looking, what looked to once been marble, gold plating, and a very well-established building with fine arts. As you can see the bright sign of Chisel and Cut kind of blazing over the building, though the C on the cut is kind of like hanging outside now, so it looks more like Chisel and Oot. As you look, as one of the windows is also slightly cracked, and another looks to be shattered and boarded up. As you walk up to the door, it's kind of walking up to it, dude's grabbing hold of it. Dude, you feel as almost immediately the door gives way and kind of falls backwards, slamming into the floor. And as it does so, you hear from the back a rough voice in Dwarvish go, "Who dares try and destroy my door?"
I replied, "Sorry, we're coming in. We were told to buy stuff here."
I ain't selling you no good adventures, anything besides a platinum standard protection plan. If you're not here for that, then get the hell out of here. And I can smell that you're broke with no airship. As you hear a loud sniff in the background.
I don't need an airship.
You got...
Airships?
You see as he comes walking out this 3'10", rugged, short-bearded, one-eyed, where the other eye is still not covered up, just a hole there, a couple of missing digits, and what looks to be somewhat kind of torn-up merchant attire as he comes walking around the corner, slightly drunk as he kind of limps through and goes, if you don't have an airship, I can't give you anything, and I don't sell anything for jewelry anymore. And if you're pirates or raiders, we're not hiring here. Go to the back alley.
We were
What's
told
in the
to...
back alley?
As Gaiek starts to speak, and Melvin kind of speaks up, he goes, "Back alley is none of your business if you weren't invited here. Now get out." As he kind of like throws a bottle hitting a wall nearby.
Are you Oros? We were told to come here because you could make magical rings and amulets. The guy at the Golden Flame told us you could do that.
That damn gray belt. You see as he kind of starts to hold his mouth, or kind of put his hand up to his mouth for a second, starting to slightly turn green. As he kind of swallows it down, letting out a heavy sigh. He looks over at you and goes, "I haven't made a magic item in years. Oh, I only sell the protection plan now for the Black Merchant Company. Black Merchant Company? Black Heart Merchant Company? I don't know. There are cards in the back. If you're not one of them, I ain't interested. If you're looking for wares, whatever's on the shelf is all I have left." And you see as he kind of turns back around and goes back into the back room, disappearing. As you see off to the right, a kind of open area where what's a beautiful shop definitely was. Many of the shelves themselves being made of very well hand-carved wood. The tables that have been set out looking to be enchanted, each having their own runes, have now been scratched out. Many of the chairs kind of chipped away. The woodwork around the entirety of the building looks to be slightly eaten or torn up. Many of the potions seem to be now cracked, where once they probably looked gorgeous with the many different vials all stacked as they are. To your left, as you look over off to the other room, you see a large open storeroom where different staves with different shapes of creatures, rods of different shapes and designs seem to be kind of all stacked about, covered in dust, as a rat in the background suddenly sneezes as he continues to narrate. Yeah, but yes, as you see the heavy dust and like cobwebs all about these items, many of the rods and staves look to have little cracks where the wood in the woodworking and metalworking of them. Kind of looking them over, immediately you can kind of tell that these items have seen better days.
Want to go somewhere else?
Yeah, let's go anywhere else. It seems our business is not appreciated here.
Want to go to the Humble Horde Guild for the potions?
Sure, let's head there.
All right. Heading back towards the T-junction and heading down towards the palace. About a half an hour or an hour's walk of you lot heading towards the Adventuring Guild. You see the two guilds set basically facing each other on either side. On the right, you see the Garden's Grace Adventuring Guild, where what quote-unquote normals are treated and welcomed. Those of the races that currently control and rule territory, as you see many of them. You see the kobold in there, her obsidian scale-like appearance, kind of with her very motherly and bountiful thickness, we'll call it, looks over at you and kind of sneers as she kind of looks over, seeing Melvin. But as you look on the left side of the road, you see the Humble Horde Adventuring Guild, a very large guild that seems to be more made of kind of rough timber, molded timber, but as you see the giant creatures, their skulls kind of shown predominantly outside on the walls. Two giant dragon skulls seem to be shown off with little titles beneath them on the front of the building. Other creatures like yourselves, goblins, hobgoblins, a few Thrycreen, what looks to be a couple other monstrous-like races seem to be enjoying themselves. A group of Goliath mercenaries that seem to be drinking and talking. A few lycanthropes that you recognize, or that you can immediately recognize being such with Neff's group. Almost immediately recognizing a few of them from Neff's mercenary company. As you look about, you see a large board in the back, a very opened up front entrance or front area to sit in when the weather is normally nice. Currently, all the tables and chairs kind of put away. A loud band kind of playing inside a very open and boisterous bar. As you head in, you hear the bell ring above as the door opens, and a large Goliath comes walking over, smiling and with two ales in each hand. He hands over one to you, Dutes, hands one into Gygax, and then looks at Melvin and kind of like holds it out for him to grab. And as he kind of smiles at each of you and goes, as he smacks his chest, standing about 8 feet tall, he goes, "My name Think run bar. What can Think do for you?"
I think. Looking to buy some health potions and mana potions.
Drink up.
I take a swig.
As you take a swig back, you taste a familiar flavor of that rosmium-like flavor from the health potions. You do gain back 10 HP, or 10 temp HP in this situation for this specific potion, or for this potion.
I chugged the whole thing.
Gygax, as you do, the whole thing is around 40 HP. Anything that doesn't fill out counts as temp HP.
I have 40 temp HP.
Yes, you do.
I do the same.
Melvin, yeah, it's the same thing. As you watch Dudes, you look over and you see as Melvin and Gygax see you, kind of feel like flexing slightly, feeling a little bit warmer and kind of like loosening up. They see, realizing what this means, they both immediately chug the thing. Right after, looking over, or you look, Think looks over at you and kind of waits to see what you do.
I'll swallow the bottle.
Yeah, as you tip it up and down it, you also gain the rest of the 30 temp HP. He smiles and goes, "Thinkiest man alive to always stand strong." And he points up to a big sigil on the wall that's just like a very rough painting of him, like of gray circles, holding up a large bar of gold, and then in the other hand a potion vial.
Beautiful art piece.
Think make it himself.
I was just about to ask.
Think well-known artist. Even paint Greg's Martyrdom one time.
Oh, how did that go?
He points and you over, and you see the most gorgeous dragon you've ever seen as you look at this beautiful painting of a dragon kind of laying in this, like, almost Cupid, with little Cupid-like angels in the background floating about, a valley of flowers, and a bunch of little marble-esque statues behind him. You see this gorgeous dragon just kind of posing and with its obsidian scales.
Oh my.
And Think smiles and goes, "It's my proudest art piece."
I can tell. Wow, the quality.
He smiles.
How long did it take?
I had to go to Birdlands and sit with him for many hours. I don't know how many days passed. We were in a big hole in the ground. But he kind of looks at you and you're looking for a specialty ale.
What do you have?
I sell specialty ale at 200 gold pieces per vial. As he kind of points over to the thing you just the cup you just drank out of, and then goes, I also make normal health healing potions from the Rosmium flowers if you're looking. You see him kind of thinking back and forth as he kind of looks about and goes, I have cure light wounds for 25 gold pieces. Cure moderate for 150. And he kind of thinks and goes, and I can make cure serious, but I need more materials. As he kind of scratches his head.
How much was the cure moderate again?
150 GP. He kind of looks at each of you and goes, and if you want bed, we've got strong floors, large rooms, and specialty beds for each and individuals. We'd even have underground beds for those of the dark. He kind of looks up at the like sky for a moment as he looks through a window, and kind of you can see he's deep in thought, trying to thinking of something. It was for the
Other living?
yes. He looks at you and goes yes, and he smiles.
I'll buy 2 moderate and 2 light, please.
He nods and he goes, and as he snaps his fingers, a couple of little, what would be normally little Goliaths what are little Goliaths for his species? To the rest of you, look to be like normal kobold-sized young children who come running up at 5 feet tall, already very well muscled, and most of them seemingly to be smiling and happy as each of their with their Goliath-like appearance. As they come jogging up, they come in with a few of the potions, setting them down in front of you, Gygax, and one of the little boys that does so kind of looks over at you and goes, "Are you a talking treasure chest?"
Almost.
He smiles and goes, "That's so cool! Have you killed anything?"
I transform into a pixie.
He kind of looks at it and goes, "Oh, I've seen one of those. That's so cool." It kind of looks at the wings fluttering and like examines it and goes, "What else can you do?"
As the belly of the pixie is talking, I reach into my mouth and pull out 300 gold to pay for the potions I just bought.
He takes the gold and he looks up at Think and goes, "Look, Dad, he's so cool. His stomach talks. Can my stomach talk?" And Think just scratches his head and just shakes his head no. So as the kid looks up at him with his puppy dog like eyes, the kid kind of sighs and goes back, or heads off back with the others. As Think looks back to you a lot and goes, "I sorry, kids." Oh, and he kind of holds his head.
I transform
You're
back into my normal form.
Okay.
I will buy 8 cure moderate potions and 1 of the specialty ales.
He smiles and goes, okay, and kind of turns and starts to kind of stop. As he turns to walk off, he stops and then looks over at Melvin as he goes, and you, sir? As he looks at Melvin.
I'm okay. I already have some health potions.
He nods up and down rigorously and goes, and as he turns and goes jogging off, the loud stomps on the wood as they slightly bend under his weight as he goes running off behind the bar. A few minutes go by as he returns back, kind of setting them the vials down, as well as about a foot tall bottle that has the same sigil painting of Think himself up on the bar, painted onto it as a bottle brand. And below it reads, it has a little warning in common, do not drink more than one of these.
Alright.
Think smiles and looks at each of you and goes, can I help you with anything?
Question about the label.
Yes.
It says don't drink more than one of them.
He nods.
How often?
Oh, one day.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. The effects wear off after a single day for the power they give, unfortunately. He looks at it and goes, I have not figured out how to make them last. Once the buzz burns off, that's it. He kind of smiles at that as he does so, looks over, and he goes, if you drink more than one, and he kind of puts his hands kind of clasping together, and then like puts them out like in an exploding motion as he makes an exploding sound.
I see.
Oh, Think, I have a question for you.
Think not good with questions.
Oh, well, you might be able to answer this one because you know this town better than we do. We went to the Chisel and Cut because we were told that they would have rings or amulets that are magical, but they don't. Is there anywhere else we can go?
You see him kind of like pursing his lips as he looks about. He starts to kind of hum a little bit and goes, Oros likes to sell his stuff to guys in dark, shiny suits. All of his fancy stuff, you know, like the explodey sticks that shoot fire. All the fancy ones go to the black-plated men in the back. What are they called? He kind of thinks for a second. There's a kid somewhere around here selling a map that should show you, but I don't know where he is. I know I've seen him sell to other adventurers. Oh, he doesn't seem to like my customers.
Huh.
Would you say he would usually be at the guild across the street?
Sometimes he's off and about. It depends. I saw him with a young dwarven fella earlier that he was drawing, but otherwise, he kind of shakes his head. But if you're looking for the shiny black men, as he kind of takes a second, he goes, they are in the back streets. You don't want to go there though. Bone men like to walk around those areas, and they hurt. He kind of lifts up his shirt a little bit and shows where a large scar around his abs are. It looks like a black like burn mark of little tendrils across it. He goes, they stabbed me with a bone sword, and then these like weird black fire things came out, and it hurt. It never healed. It just burns every night. Anytime there's a full moon, it burns more.
I see.
Psionically speaking to Doots, is this black company necromancers?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Can I inspect the black mark?
Yeah, go ahead and give me. What are you trying to gain from it? Like, figure out.
What kind of magic it is?
Yeah, let's go with knowledge. So I'll either let you do knowledge arcana or it'll be a higher DC, but spellcraft to figure out exactly the spell.
Okay, I'll do arcana.
Yeah, it's knowledge. You would recognize this. I believe this magic. Just give me a second, because I have to double check. What the School of Magic counts as. Does it actually state? Oh, you do not recognize this School of Magic on it, though, you do know for a fact that, with that roll, you kind of think about every magic you've ever seen for a moment. Thinking back on it heavily, this doesn't fit any of the schools of magic you're familiar with, and you've even heard rumors of blood magic. But it doesn't look to the same factor. Whatever this is, it's something new.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this, guys.
He kind of looks about at you all as you're talking in your heads, and he kind of just looks about and goes, if I can think help with and you see drool kind of starting to come out of his mouth as he kind of like stares off for a moment.
Thank you, Think, for all the help you've given us. You are very kind, very helpful.
Yes, Think always happy to help locals. People bully Think when he first arrived. Think doesn't like that to happen to people.
You are a good
He smiles and nods at that as he turns to go deal with another customer, leaving you guys at your table to kind of enjoy your little bit of quiet to your own personal space.
Psionically to Melvin and Deuce, I say, I was about to call him a person.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I think that's okay. Just don't give him a name.
Yeah.
He has a name.
So, okay, no, I don't think the whole, them dying is gonna affect these people. I think that will only happen in Zerber's lands.
You mean not all merchants are slaves?
Yes, not all merchants are slaves. Not everyone's a hive mind.
But are all slaves merchants?
But
No.
But then who
Oh.
do the merchants bow to?
Usually would be a lord or potentially themselves.
How do you bow to yourself?
I was about to ask you
Like
the
you're-
same question.
So, like, you're your own boss, pretty much. Like how Zebril wouldn't bow to anyone but himself. He has no one to listen to.
Oh, I get it. So they look in a mirror and then they bow to themselves. Okay, now I got it.
As you kind of are sitting there, Melvin, as you kind of look over out the window as you guys are having this conversation between you, the three of you in your head, which is slightly eerie to the people kind of ongoing, but a lot of people aren't really paying attention to you a lot, so delightfully. But as you look out the window, Melvin, you see a group of it looks to be fire giants, kind of that are somewhat well and capably put together, looking like a young group of adventurers, or maybe some some fresh guards or hunters from the outskirts. As you look over, you notice one of them keeps like hard staring you as he glares over at you. The slight anger in his eyes, it seems to, as he like glares straight at you specifically.
I give an intimidating glare back and wiggle my tentacle.
As you do so, you see the annoyance in them rolling their eyes as they head into the guild across the street.
Mission accomplished.
Dutes and Gygax, so I imagine are kind of like their back semi towards the windows, not seeing this. All you see is as Melvin just suddenly starts to kind of wiggle his tentacles out of nowhere, and Gygax give a bit more of a menacing look back.
I'll
you
look
okay,
over
brother?
to see what he's staring at.
As you turn to look there, the fire giants aren't there at that point. There's
I
just
just
people
look at
walking over.
Melvin and go, "Are you okay?"
There was somebody looking at me funny.
Oh, okay. Do I need to fight them?
I mean, if you want to, they're over at the other place that didn't seem to like us.
I kind of look questioningly at Dudes. Should I?
Do I want to cause problems for myself in the future?
Yes.
I am interested to go and check out that guild. Maybe we can go and see what that was about.
As you lot kind of head out there, you see as the other party seems to kind of get in their wagon and seems to start to turn and head back around, heading back towards the T section, or the other group of fire giants. They kind of seem to glare at you lot as you come out, heading over towards the guild that they were at.
I morph into the first troll head with the shocked face,
Uh-huh.
and then just give them an ugly look with that.
As you do so, looking over at them, they don't seem to notice you, although the wolf that seems to be kind of pulling their carriage kind of gives you a little bit of a glare, as it kind of catches you for a moment, and they kind of head back down towards the T intersection. As you kind of turn to this head, and about halfway across the street, almost out of nowhere comes this 5-foot-tall kobold woman who very voluptuous, thicker, older woman comes out with her black scales and glaring at the lot of you as she comes storming out of this building. And she looks at Dudes and goes, "You are not bringing that ugly little ball of flesh right there into my shop. You can turn your happy little behinds back the way you came."
I'll show
Right.
you a little ugly ball of flesh, lady.
And if you do, my son will make sure you're not only kicked out of this city, but you'll be lucky if you make it out of alive, young man. Or creature.
I assure you both of them are housebroken.
I don't care if they are. They will not set foot in my establishment. That's why that idiot over there, that
It's a
primitive...
good thing I don't walk.
She suddenly just glares at Melvin and she goes, "You filthy monsters can get the hell out of my city. This is not
Whoa.
your city to be in. You lot should be hunted like the rest of them."
I think my coin is as good as anyone else's, especially since I shape change into a dwarf. I can do this. I can be anyone you would prefer
She
to do
look-
business with.
She looks at you and goes, "You filthy doppelgangers. I know what you are. Get the hell out of this area. You ain't welcome in my shop, and I refuse to do any business with you. You keep bothering me, and I'll get the guards down here, you disgusting ingrates."
I morph into a Grig. Can I come in now?
She just glares at you. "Turn and walk away, or I'll have the guards brought here. This is my only warning. My son will not will hear of this if you push any further into my shop."
I take a deep breath. Shape change to look exactly like her.
Disgusting.
Rub my hands up and down my body and say gladly and leave. Not changing back. I'm still keeping this form.
You see she turns and starts shouting for the guards. As giants, dragonkin, koboldkin, all dressed mostly in common leather, start to come rushing. Around 6 guards kind of come rushing up from the southern street, and you start to see about 6 knights coming running down toward from another street about a few blocks down. They are roughly they're starting to look towards you lot and coming to surround you, as they seem to kind of key in on Melvin specifically. What do you want to do?
I morph back into my original form.
Uh-huh.
Not the fight I was looking for.
I don't think we'll have to fight, or we should fight our way out of this.
Oh, the guards start to kind of surround you a lot. Then one of the knights in full plate with a shield and spear kind of comes forward, a little bit more grizzled, with the same. You recognize the same colored kobold scales as the female kobold that you're currently impersonating the appearance of. As he looks over at you and goes, "You would dare take on the appearance of my own aunt and the leader of our country's fucking mother?"
I look at him confused and say, I'm sorry if I offended. This in my culture, this is actually a great...
He
trying to
puts a
think of the
spear
word.
to your throat as you start to state this. Are you gonna? Yeah.
I drop my appearance and turn into a random dwarf.
Okay.
We're new here. We're part with Neff and Ultimus, and we have a day off, so we came to town to buy stuff. We don't know who she is, or who you are, or anything.
As you say this, you see as Ultimus and Neff coming down from the palace about a street block away start jogging towards you lot, saying this. I said, if Neff doesn't start jogging, I know Ultimus will. Carriage, not bus. Neff, as you come down from the palace, seeing the guards and easily seeing Melvin slightly floating above most of them, you see they're starting to get surrounded. Are you going to do anything?
I'm gonna put first, since he's in the city, he's not in his lycanthrope form.
Yeah.
So he's a bit smaller. He's more cat, like normal house cat like.
Mm-hmm.
But with the same gear. He's just gonna sigh and walk over. Already, it's been a day. It's been a day.
A few of the lycanthropes from the tavern with Think kind of come marching out, saying this, and you see as they start to draw like small little knives from the tables and stuff, and start to surround the guards in leather from behind. Not the knights, but the guards behind the party. Dutes, Melvin, and Gygax. You start to count. You see and start to see more mercenaries coming out. You got this group outnumbered. as Neff comes up. As
Can I
the
realization.
yeah,
Can I start with what the problem is?
the knight kind of pulls the spear away from Dutes as he's kind of shrunken down now, and looks about the party and goes, "A small one says that they're new in town, but they dared to insult and not follow the rules of Greg's Maritim's not kind town, letting monsters and their lot in, a lot like yourself," as he kind of spits on the ground. Neff, you recognize this is like a third cousin removed from the main family of the royal family. This guy holds very little power.
What
would like to
Greg's
think-
Maritim's land on trial by combat? What's his take?
As far as it goes, I mean, he wouldn't be against it. There's nothing to say that wouldn't. I mean, the challenge of honor is to be respected as far as it goes. So that's just a normal law of the land.
Neff narrows his eyes a little bit. Someone unimportant would insult a noble. Okay. Then we
just
handle
think-
this like nobles.
I just think to dudes, you know, I think it'd be pretty embarrassing if they had to bring monsters into my hometown to save me.
Wait, you said you think this, or you say this out loud?
Yeah, I
He
was
thinks
dudes.
All
I
right,
think it's dudes.
You know,
dudes, go
I
ahead.
agree.
I was say, dudes, I imagine that a little crack in the face for that.
Oh, I'm dying. Like, I'm struggling to keep it together. You know, I even had a stray thought once I saw everyone gets around. I'm like, yo, we could totally take them.
Gygax, are you doing anything during this as well?
I have my daggers in my hands, and I'm just looking around confused, like, are we fighting? Are we not fighting? What's going on? And why are you two talking to each other mentally without me part of the conversation?
Melvin does have the same. Does have the ability as well because of his background. Just
Yeah,
as a
I
heads up. Yep.
Yeah, but he didn't include me in the conversation. So
Oh.
I didn't hear it.
It's true. As you look confused back and forth, seeing poor Deuce just kind of cracking up as a dwarf. As this happens, the guard captain kind of turns, or net captain kind of turns back towards Neff and goes, kind of with the realization, kind of swallows hard and goes, I wouldn't. Fine.
Men, we go to the dueling pits.
He backs down and goes, fine. No, they're fine to be released. Just don't let them get impersonating people again.
I
As he,
merely just adopted the appearance of a person I deeply respected.
you see as he turns and gives you a murderous glare, but does not seem to dare to raise his weapon again.
I was just impersonating the people I've killed.
He kind of sighs and backs up, and as he turns back to his men and Draconic says, move out. They seem to turn and start marching away. The guards, who are more militia than actually trained soldiers, look at the mercenaries behind them now, and kind of with the realization of the numbers around them, kind of look very nervous as they look about, looking at Neff and looking back at the mercenaries.
I'm just gonna wave them off to leave.
They immediately do so, putting their weapons away and seem to kind of head off on their own routes. The rest of the mercenaries in your company seem to go back about their businesses. Many of them seem to dissipate amongst the town.
So, I know you've never been here before, guys, but can we not... If that guy was any higher ranked, I would have actually had trouble.
I mean, we
Who's
were
that
just trying to
kobold
check
woman?
out that guild building, and that lady was being a big old bitch.
Yeah, monsters aren't allowed in there, or, like, similar... They don't even allow lycanthropes, who are a recognized species.
So
Who's a
even if I
monster?
go in as... If
I'm
I
not
go
a
in as a
monster.
dwarf?
Monster, in terms of classification, be like, you don't have a kingdom, which, on this plane, none of you do.
I think. So the Fae don't have any outposts in the material plane?
Yes, they do. Puntun's neck.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no, in the non-traditional sense that, yeah, he's right. Technically, a portal counts as an outpost, right? Excuse me. My
But
niece
Neff
there.
did say kingdom and not outpost.
But as far as it goes, the Fae are pretty much an undiscovered nation amongst most nations. There's only a few that actually know of their existence as a kingdom and as an extraplanar species.
Well, in that case, my kingdom would be a dungeon where I came from.
Not a kingdom. Sorry, buddy.
I point to Melvin. Mind Flare.
He's not a natural mind flayer.
But he is a part of them, is he not?
Ultimus
Most
kind
nations don't like them, man. Most nations don't like them.
Ultimus kind of pops up and goes, "Think about it, right? When was the last time you saw a Zebdril going around and visiting people? I mean, think about it." As he kind of puts away the many daggers that he had pulled out.
I think
the
Zebras
last
visited
time
one
we were there?
nation in I don't know how long.
What was that, Gygax?
The last time we were there, he was out and about in the streets welcoming everybody, including us. And then he sent us here.
Ultimus kind of looks over at Neff and then goes, looks back at Elot and goes, "Oh, no, his city. No foreigners are allowed in there. We can't go to his city, and we're mercenaries for hire. If we got hired, he wouldn't let us into a city probably. He doesn't let anybody that's not under the." And he kind of like taps his head and then points over to Melvin and then Doots.
They're isolationists.
And
Huh?
but people that stick to themselves.
Ultimus kind of pops up and goes, "Hey, well, people that hide in dungeons and don't want to be bothered by others."
But again, I can take on the appearance of any person I've ever seen. I can craft an appearance. Why can I not go in if I just go in as, say, a dwarf?
Identity theft.
But if I craft a face,
False appearance.
hmm,
You have to forge documents. So you'd be living a lie, which is illegal.
Ultimus kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, and also, if you look around, this is one of the few cities that's well organized. They got information on everyone that lives here. You want to do business with her? My advice," Neff doesn't suggest, won't let me like that I'm saying this, as Ultimus kind of gives a wry smile at this, over towards Neff, and continues and goes, "I'd recommend wait until, like, in the evening, kind of pop up by yourself with a different face on. I'd recommend Kobold. She'll never know."
Can we just
So-
go to the kinky buckle now?
Since you've been here longer than us, can I ask about that? Just about the town and some of these locations, like the Kinky Buckle. What should we expect? Because the last place we went to wasn't actually selling anything.
DM, do you want to roll for that? Or
Yeah, good.
yeah,
No knowledge local. You've only been here for a little while, so
yeah. Let me go down to Neff. There's Neff. $20.
20. You'd know that it's a pretty common and popular magic shop. It specializes in armor. It's ran by an old kobold named Uskdar, or Usknanar. It depends on your pronunciation. He's an emerald scaled kobold. He is supposedly also a distant relative of Corex, I believe it is.
Yeah, he is.
And beyond that, the other thing is you remember is the he is a she, as I just read my own notes. But she is a well-respected blacksmith, mostly designing noblemen's outfits as well.
Okay, I'll put these as notes. I mean, she's a good craftsman. She mostly has armor. She works a lot for the nobles. It's probably one of the better shops for armor.
Did I spell her name correctly?
Not in the slightest. Don't feel bad though, because I wouldn't have spelt this right either. Dragon names are very difficult in the world as far as it goes. There's supposed to be a mixture of letters in the world, so. As Neff kind of says this and points down the way, down the street away from where he came from with Ultimus, you see a shop with a line going all the way out of it. Though it looks to be just a simple black wooden shop with a simple straw roof, most of the shop doesn't seem to actually be walled in, as it's an open smithy, and you can see the elderly kobold, although it's hard to tell gender from this distance, seemingly smacking away in the bright sunlight as the sun, or well, sorry, rather the clouds, as the light from the torchlight and the furnace kind of glows off of their scales.
And then, with this being such a big merch station, I'm assuming they're like, are there like pop-up shops, or is there like an area where merchants come and sell and leave, like a bazaar kind of?
Yeah, the main market at the T-junction that the party has kind of walked through a few times. Most of the merchants that are traveling merchants that aren't setting up shops will usually set up stalls down in that area.
Yeah, if you're looking for anything like rings and stuff, I mean, you don't. Unlike most days, you don't have to use the base shops. The market has just about anything.
Magical
The fair amount of merch in and out.
Ultimus kind of smiles at that, looks and gets down, kneels down towards Gygax and goes, "Well, think about it. If you're trying to hawk goods, where are you gonna go? City of Merchants."
Or
Hey.
cost.
Well,
I don't know what hawking goods is, but you said magical rings, so I just want to go there.
stealing anything you steal, if you don't want to sell it somewhere, you don't want to sell it wherever you stole it in the city of, because then if the person who you stole it from finds out, they'll send the guards after you.
But the sheer amount of items sold here.
It's a merchant city. People just come and go constantly. The population around here is so vast. It's sometimes, who knows? I mean, the black markets around here alone are where you could find probably some magic rings that'll do some major stuff. They're just as likely to be cursed and ruinous.
Okay, dudes, on the way to the Kinky Buckle, can we look at magical rings in the market?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm just gonna say, because Dudes mentioned was not really Neff was buying one earlier. Neff is wearing the same +1 amulet with the goblin blood on it. He's wearing another one around his waist.
Yeah, as you watch them, Ultimus and Neff kind of head on down to the, kind of head back towards the mercenary quarters, as the two of them in their common wear seem to kind of happily be going about joking and shopping as they leave you lot to your own business. Getting the kind of impression that Neff doesn't want to deal with you lot on his day off, as he kind of goes on with his day.
Understandable. I return to my original appearance.
Yeah.
Who is the guy with Ultimus? I asked of Dutes and Melvin.
That was Neff.
No, it wasn't. It didn't look like him.
So you remember the lycanthropes that we saw, like the werewolves and the were-rats? Yeah. So they're not like that all the time. There are times where they are normal and have human appearances.
Oh, they're like you and me.
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
gonna say out
okay.
of cat, not human, because they're fucking tabaxi.
Yep. So he looks more tabaxi, like a mix of tabaxi and Rakshasa.
Yeah. So they have normal appearances that match what would be the base or, more humanoid version of the animal they are.
Oh, so they only have 3 shapes, whereas you and I have many.
Yes.
Okay.
It was in that moment that Gygax realized these creatures must be really dumb if they can't turn into multiple creatures like everyone else.
I only have one shape, and it's round.
No. You have more than one shape. You have more arms now than you did when we first met.
As you kind of start or have this conversation, heading up the way, seeing the large line kind of out the door of this armor shop, you kind of realizing you have some time to kill. Turn kind of back down towards the T-junction, where the vast large market is. You see shops kind of going, shouting yet left and right. Some that are food wise, some that are item wise. A little jewelry stand kind of catches your attention as you see a snow dwarf working there, a young-looking snow dwarf who kind of keeps shouting out with his bright white skin. Rings that are totally legitimate. Rings for your wedding, wings for your death, wings to tell her you're just not interested. I got rings that'll scare your mother-in-law away. Anything you could need, I have got them in jewelry, I've got them in staves, I've got them in rods. I promise, I totally legit goods, but here at Earl Magma Brews Shop and Go. As he looks
Look at
over.
Melvin, is he selling wings or rings?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay, because he said wedding rings, but death wings. So I'm confused.
I feel like that's a question for the merchant. Not for me.
I walk up to the booth.
As
Do I
you
sense anything magical from the rings?
You can give me a knowledge arcana to see if you can tell. None of them are active, so none of them are immediately giving off like any like light or anything like that. But yeah, if you want to try a knowledge arcana to see if there's anything catches your attention. Side business, they make spicy wings. Yes. Oh my god, nice. Alright, as you look them over, these rings all have magic runes on them, and they look to be of dwarven craft. As you look at the runes themselves, they each look to be in giant, language, as the dwarves use giant runes, or the giant rune language. They seem to be slightly modified enough to where you recognize many of these are made by dwarves and are legitimate magic items. The rings, give me a minute, that you find amongst his collection, if I can, there we go, he seems to have a ring of the ram, improved climbing. I can give you a full list here. Swimming, animal friendship.
Please.
That'll make it easier. Here, let me just send you a quick list to save us both a little bit of time. And I'll even send you the prices he is currently selling them at to save you even more time, as he does have them each like with little like tags on them. So here are the rings that you kind of look through. To kind of highlight for those who listen in, a few of them in there you do have fingers still lodged in them. I will note some of them look to have like the bone still stuck to them. And others just look to be very well polished, almost unnaturally so. But yeah, you see water walking, it kind of catches your attention. A +3 protection ring that looks to be made for the size for a cloud giant, though it does shrink as it seems to, as you kind of move it around, pull the finger out of it. Though it seems to go right back to the same size as the finger is put back into it. Invisibility, Wizardry 1, which, as you take a moment thinking on this, you remember hearing in the dungeon about how wizardry rings are kind of terrible. But beyond that, yeah. Is there anything? Pull the finger. In the distance, a yellow burst of smoke can be seen kind of blowing into the clouds. Though, as you are too distracted by the glorious rings, nothing kind of catches, or you do not see it.
Hey, dudes, they actually have rings you might want.
Oh, what do they have?
This one is sustenance, and then this one is protection +3.
Is there a price marketed next to it?
Yes.
Yes. Sustenance is 2,500. And protection +3 is 18,000.
Maybe I'll look into getting that ring later, when I have that acquired gold, because I don't have that much.
Well, you're the only one that eats, other than Tun, so I figured the sustenance one would be good for you.
You see Earl's kind of like eyebrows furrow a little bit as they hear of no money. He goes, it's, we don't take charity here. Either you buy something or you can't, and you move on to the next stand. I'm always happy to sell if you're looking to buy those. He smiles over towards Gygax.
Ooh, what's this chameleon power do?
He kind of picks up the ring, and as he kind of takes it out of the finger of an elven adventurer for a moment. He kind of smiles and looks it up and down and goes, "Well, if I'm remembering correctly, you can use this to basically blend into the surroundings. You say a command word, and as he kind of puts it on, and then you hear him read in Dwarvish, disappear, and he suddenly vanishes into the brickwork. He kind of takes it off and kind of sets it back down and goes, I recommend this for if you're ever looking to do some less savory business. I know it's helped many of my customers on their adventures when they've bought rings of this sort. Many of them have come back telling me of how great of investments this was.
Yeah, none of these interest me, though. Melvin, you interested in any of them?
I think I'm alright for now. I
Okay.
also, like, Dukes, don't quite have the financials for that.
He kind of looks at each of you and goes, so you're... Understood. If you're not going to buy anything else, there's other customers that are going to be very interested in my wares. If you wouldn't mind moving on, as he kind of like tries to shoo you away.
Hey, Melvin, the ring of climbing would work really well for you.
That's terrible.
I feel like I don't need a ring for that.
I was having a funny.
Oh,
Earl sighs at the lot of you, like having this conversation in front of his stand, as he just kind of waits for you to leave at this point.
Does Earl also have amulets?
He does. As you look around his other items, give me a moment to pull up my information. He does sell an amulet of natural armor. He does also offer, give me a minute to pull up my list. He also does sell an amulet of health. Those are the only two amulets he's currently got on display, but he does have quite a few of them, as you notice, though they all seem to be identical to each other.
What does the amulet of protection do, and what does the amulet of health do?
It's an amulet of natural armor. It's basically what it does is it gives you a +1 to your natural armor. The amulet of health, if I remember correctly, gives you a +2 to your health every time you level up, basically as if it was a con. Let me see. No, again, it's just a flat out bonus to your con. So +2, +4, +6.
And it's a +2 that he has?
Correct.
Okay. And the natural armor, what's the price?
He smiles as he sees you looking at it and pulls out the little tag that says 2,000 gold pieces.
Dude, weren't you looking for one of these?
I was, but I was gonna probably take one from the goblins, because from them I can get it for free and en masse.
Then why is he selling it for 2,000?
Because he doesn't know.
He looks at you a lot and goes, listen, alright, he kind of gets really close in as he leans over his stand to you lot and goes, listen, I know how these are sold, I know how these are bought. Understand that most people don't want to go out and kill goblins to steal these things, and yet there aren't many merchants around here who know how the goblins make these damn things. It's some sort of secret item they've learned to craft it with their masked elders. So, if you don't mind, if you're not gonna buy the item and you're just gonna go out and kill goblins for it, can you keep your voices down and just go do that? I'd rather not give random people the wrong idea and think they can just go kill goblins for merchandise.
Wait, didn't we just kill like 150 goblins yesterday? Why didn't we find any amulets?
Because, first off, you didn't decide to go and look for it. I tried to bring that up to the party, but no one said they wanted to actually go look for the corpses to loot anything. You even left the ears behind, and then you just went back to town. So, good question. Why didn't you loot the bodies?
I say mentally, hey, y'all want to go do that now? Before
you
someone
know
else
that
does.
that giant army the potential more people that you could have killed that you didn't confirm that you left there. Yeah, there could have been hundreds of corpses. You guys could have left thousands of gold potential of gold there, just laying there.
Also, to be fair, you just got told a troll sold those to that guy, and a troll collected the goblin ears for you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, Sen. That was his name. We need to go talk to him.
Alright. As you kind of like pull away from the shop, are you guys gonna go look for Sen, or are you gonna head back towards the Kinky Buckle?
Well, we can talk to Sen when we get back to camp. We can go to the Kinky Buckle now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Alright, as you kind of sigh looking at the amulets and kind of ignore, deciding to move on from them, not buying anything, Merchant kind of starts shouting for other people once again, getting some other customers' attention. You watch as he changes out the price tags almost as quickly as you guys walk away, increasing them all by almost 1,000 gold pieces apiece, as a customer who's well dressed and not as well armored or armed comes walking over looking at the goods. As you guys head back down the main road, about 45 minutes or so of walking, you find yourselves finally at the Kinky Buckle as much of the line has died down. The elder lady kind of stretching her back as she's kind of sitting down into a rocking chair, hammer in hand, the little forge kind of burning as you smell the scent of cooking meat on the air. As you kind of come walking up to the shop, she looks over at you and smiles kindly and goes, "Oh, I bet Laurence loved you lot."
Who's Laurent?
Would that happen to be? I transformed briefly into the kobold. This lady, and I
She-
transformed back.
She nods, yeah, up and down, yes.
She called the whole city guard on us.
Yeah, she did that to me too when I first arrived here. She thought I was a Dretkin because I had big arms. She is an old coot, ignore her. She's horrible. I think it's just because her son conquered the lands that suddenly she's queen shit. Her shit don't smell any prettier than anybody else down these streets these days. She just complains more about it.
Are you Uskanar?
As far as I know, how you doing?
Magical armor.
I see you're not one for mixing words, youngin'. All right. I'm pretty capable. Are you looking for some custom pieces for each of you?
At this time, not for me.
Fair enough. She looks at...
I look.
Hmm?
Melvin. I look at Melvin. Huh?
Well, there's not much I can wear, but other than these two cloaks, if there was something you could do.
I think I can make you some clothes that'll make you a little tougher. You should be able to wear it. I take it you're one of them book-learned folks.
Something like that.
Understandable. Your tentacles will be a little bit harder, but I'm always up for a challenge. Are you good with something that'll kind of work with you? You might have to tear some holes in it if you grow any more tentacles, but it shouldn't ruin the material.
Yeah, that'll work.
Alright, I'll give you a nobleman special. And she kind of starts to write it down as she wets a quill and writes it down on a piece of leather. She looks down at Gygax and goes, "And for you, youngin'... let's just go with youngin' as she smiles.
Hey, I'm Gygax.
Nice to meet you, Gygax, as she holds out her hand.
I shake it, and then with the other hand, I grab my skin and pull so that she can see that it's actually studded leather, troll leather armor that's attached to me.
I see they did a good job on it. You must have had a master smith to work with. You want me to just improve this then, rather than make you something fresh and new?
You can make it stronger?
The smith who made this as a fancy piece. He made it so it could be easily customizable. I can switch out some of the broken bits and improve it with some better metals. I can fix up the patches of the leather and clean up some of the areas. Yeah, I can make it to be some better gear.
Yeah, because it's a +4 now. Can you make it better than that?
We'll just have to see.
Okay, how much would that cost?
For the two of you, about 16,000 gold pieces should cover the materials and prices.
I just look over at Gygax and then look back.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait then. We have barely half of that.
She nods and goes, "I recommend getting some work in town. There's some jobs at the Adventuring Guild and the Monster Hunting Guild's always looking to buy any monsters that you can catch. If you catch any creatures and put them in a cage, they'll buy them right off you for a good price. I saw one group come through here made 10,000 gold pieces off of a single beast."
Oh, what happened to be the beast?
Some blaze-tail griffin, I believe. It was a rare mutation of the creature. It was an albino-looking one. Sold it for 10K at market. I heard the guy who bought it sold it for double that right the day after. There's good money in creatures. Sow out there is a big one. They may be spectral, but I hear spectral bacon is all the rage to the noblemen right now, and they're buying the meat up left and right. And anybody who can catch those pigs and manage to take them into the town, like they'll pay. Apparently, they're paying top market price.
What's bacon?
She kind of smiles at you and holds up a finger. She pulls out of her forge a long, what would be like a pizza, like a spatula. I don't know what the long ones are called. But she pulls this long wooden ore-like object out. You see on there a sparkling purple like meat that smells like bacon that has just been cooked in a pizza oven. It seems to be slightly baking as well as crisping a little bit. It starts to like spot off little bits of grease, and she smiles and she goes, "According to what I've been told, the nobles eat it and they don't gain a single pound. Apparently, it's all for the taste." As she kind of
That
smiles.
smells good.
Uh,
I've never had that before.
She grabs her metal fork and like prongs it down and then holds it out for you, and goes, "All yours."
Thank you. And I just eat it.
Yeah, as you
So
bite,
grab it.
yeah,
I
as
just
you
bite down on the fork.
bite down on the fork, pulling it off the fork cleanly. She kind of smiles, and it tastes exactly like crispy honey bacon. Although, as it goes down, it mysteriously, you don't feel fuller. It just feels empty.
Tasty.
She smiles
Still
and goes,
hungry.
She nods and goes, "That's the problem around here. The elk's another good one, but I'd recommend enjoying yourself some stew and meat at the inn. That's the best place to go." Called a pizza peel. Okay, good to know. She smiles, but if you want, for right now, I'll start concepting the armor so that way I can have it ready for you once you lot have the money involved. It looked like you all were part of Neff's adventuring group. Tell you what, I'll knock off at half price if you can get Neff to go on a date with my granddaughter.
Who's your granddaughter?
Well, she's a young maid who works as one of Greg's Marathon's confidence ladies in waiting. She serves as not necessarily like a maid, but higher end confidant to one of the women of his. She's quite capable. She can read. She can write. She's got the pretty emerald scales as Uskanar kind of shows, brushes over her scales and like tries to show off as if she was still very young, and kind of smiles and goes, and she's quite capable, I've heard, with magic.
I'll see what we can do about that.
Well, she fancies the young man as she's seen him at court something fierce, so if you can pull it off, great, and if not, then, I understand.
And you said it's your granddaughter?
She nods.
Okay. I'll talk to him tonight.
She smiles and goes, "Well, I'll, when you come back and everything's done and taken care of, I'll have it ready for you to go. Don't worry about it." And she kind of smiles as she pulls out some leather and starts kind of like drawing up some designs of Melvin's kind of body really quickly. Getting up, she goes over to Melvin and starts kind of running some rope around you, Melvin, kind of measuring you up and down. A little intrusively, as she touches every single tentacle to make sure she has the right size. As she does so, she kind of finishes up wrapping up around you, and she comes over to you, Gygax, and starts kind of doing about the same thing. Though as you kind of move with your feet and everything, she has a little bit of a harder time kind of counting, and you watch as she kind of eventually just writes a little sideways 8 on the piece of paper, or on the piece of leather as she finishes up, and she goes,
It's actually 51 feet.
Oh! She kind of writes that down and goes, "I've never made that many. Okay. I'll make sure to," and she kind of looks at it and goes, I'll reach out to a cobbler I know then."
Thank you.
She smiles and goes, "Well, if you younglings wouldn't mind, I've got to finish up a bunch of orders. There's a big military thing going on. I imagine you probably are part of it with, if you're with Neff. The soldiers have put a big order in. I've been pumping out plate and leather and all sorts of gear all day and night. But if you come back, I'll make sure you get put to the top of the pile once you're ready.
Okay. And how far is it to the Brandon Boyle?
It should be and she looks out and about 2 doors down on the left.
Oh, cool, close.
As she points over towards it, she smiles and goes back to kind of sitting in her rocking chair. You hear the old bones kind of cracking as she does. A slight sigh from her as she kind of pulls out the plate of her food and starts eating. All right. So I take it by that you're going back to the Brandon Boyle.
I want to go.
Yeah.
All right. As you lot turn and kind of head down, following the directions, you see the shop itself is simple for its mix of wood and stone. The minor cobblestones on the bottom, the stone building itself. The building, though, seems to have, as you kind of look it up and down, 2 large glass-like bulbs that seem to stick out of the top of the building that seem to both be containing some sort of glowing and fluttering creature that's inside of it that makes the whole bulb itself kind of light up. As you head over towards the large shop, entering in, you open up and see that the bulbs themselves seem to be attached to these massive kegs all lined up along the walls. Each of them seeming to slightly sparkle as a older dragonkin with smooth gray scales, holding what looks to be a little flask in his hand, kind of walks by. He looks over at you lot and kind of smiles and goes, my name's Miralith. How may I help you here at the Brandon Boyle? I have spent many a days practicing my craft, and as you can quite see, everything here is custom made by my own hands.
Dude, you want to go first?
I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Okay. I pull out my Azure Fang of 2-strike punching daggers.
Okay.
And I go, I want these to do more damage.
It looks him over and goes, well, with my magnificence, and he starts on about a spiel about all of his experience as a smith, how glorious he is. Dutes and Melvin, given actually more Dutes in this case, given the understanding of common social awareness, you get the pretty quick understanding this guy likes to talk about himself as he goes on we'll continue for a full 20 minutes talking about his greatness and what he can do to make these items magnificent and his basking in his beauty. Though he does mention as he goes through this whole thing, spiel about himself, talk about his glorious past, he kind of smiles towards the end and then kind of drops the smile and goes, but I will not do any vorpal or cutting people's limbs off, for that is not beauty, that is disgusting and grotesque.
In Draconic, I say, no, I just want them to do more damage.
And he begins to talk about the multiple types of damages he's been able to create before on different kinds of weapons, about his magnificence of these weapons and his magnificence making them. Another 20 minutes passes of him just going on, ignoring any chance attempts to stop him.
Can I roll to see if he's telling the truth about any of this?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a sense motive.
I want to
12.
do something so bad.
He seems to be telling the truth. He doesn't seem to give off any body language. In fact, he seems to really love talking about himself, as he seems to be getting very excited. You see a slight happiness kind of emanating from him as he does so.
I don't need anything here. I'm just gonna float out and make a conversation.
Melvin, I imagine, just tired, turns and flies away.
So I very slowly, as he goes on, just start making slight alterations to my appearance to match his. So I match to his height, go to his weight, go to his skin tone, go to his eye color, go to his hair color, hairstyle, race.
As you finally come to look like mirror him, he goes, "Oh, I see you also have glorious taste. Let me tell you my story so you can pass them on to other people." And he continues on for 30 minutes more, holding the daggers that Gygax has handed them as he now enunciates his stories by swinging them around in the air. You also now suddenly notice the warning sign in the back of the building that says, "Do not talk to Merlith the page." As he finally finishes up his story and his gloriousness, he looks down at you, Gygax, and goes, "Will that do? Would you like these to be this as strong as those legendary items?"
I pull out one of my specialty bullets, and I show him the specialty bullet, and I go, "I want it to do more damage like one of these does."
He looks at it and goes, "You want me to attach fish hook?"
Not just like it, but I want it to do more damage. But I don't want it to stick into them. So not fish hooks. But it needs to do more bleedy, stabby, cutty.
He kind of looks at and nods and goes, "I can do something like that. A glorious, if not magnificent build that will be from here on renamed to something even more greater in my image." As he kind of looks at the daggers and and smiles over at you and goes, "These daggers will be the items that gods will even envy," and goes on again for another 30 minutes about how great these daggers are going to be when he's done.
As he's talking and walking around and praising himself, I look around the store to see if there's anyone else that works there.
Yes, you do see as you look about a kind of stout-looking Goliath, dwarf-looking half-breed that looks to be very annoyed, old, with a long gray beard, leaning against or kind of pushed up with a chair, leaning up against the wall at a far counter, just listening and slightly nodding off every few seconds to the conversation you lot are having.
As Miralith is talking to himself, I sort of say loud enough in Dwarvish to this Goliath half-dwarf thingy, "Do you work here?"
He looks over and goes, "In Dwarvish? Aye." And thankfully he doesn't understand Dwarvish.
And continuing Dwarvish, can you do what I'm asking with the daggers?
Aye.
How much will it cost?
He takes a second and kind of looks about for a second. You see him take a couple moments and looking about his items. Give me a second. The daggers are a +2 item, I believe, right?
Let's see. They are a 1d3 + 2. Yes.
So they're +2. He looks over at you and goes, in Dwarvish, "Aye, 26,000 for the best. 10,000 for the second best."
I'll have to do some missions and quests and jobs, but thank you for giving me a price. How long would it take once I say yes and pay?
Merilith doesn't stop talking. About 2 weeks. He does. An hour.
Okay. I wait until Merilith stops talking.
He does finally finish talking, and as he looks down at you, he goes, with like stars in his eyes, and goes, "Did you get all that? Does that sound? Doesn't that sound glorious?"
It sounds fantastic as I reach up to take my daggers back. Unfortunately, I do not have enough money for any work done at this time. I will come back when I have money.
It's my legend. You've heard my legend. Now you want to come back to me as your only smith. I understand as my greatness, and he starts going on again. You have the daggers in hand, though.
Yeah, I look at Doots and sonically I say, is now a good time to leave?
I look slowly to you and say yes.
As you start turning around and leaving, he doesn't even seem to acknowledge as you walk off. He walking back and forth, continuing to gesture and talk about himself. You see as the dwarf kind of slowly closes his eyes and falls asleep on the chair as you walk out the door. Heading out into the main street, you see as Melvin's kind of kind of floating out there, just kind of watching people floating about the entire time, or floating about, walking by rather. Not floating about, I guess, is the more important concept in that.
And when I say, sorry, brother, didn't mean to take that long.
As you realize, almost 3 hours passed while in that shop.
Oh my god.
You spent less time traveling from shop to shop.
I think it's time for lunch.
Yeah, as you look about, kind of seeing that the roads are kind of still pretty active, but now that the rain is starting to clear, the clouds are starting to break a little bit. It seems to start to clear up a little bit in the area, although it gets stormy and dark just as soon as it does. But where would you like to go for lunch? Are you gonna head back to the mercenary quarters to eat with the men, or are you gonna try and go and get some food at the Adventuring Guild or the inn?
Let's head back to the mercenary quarters. We can see if any of the goblins also are remaining.
Maybe Neff is there. And same thing with, what was his name? Spell?
True. Wait. Yeah, we have to talk to Neff.
Yeah, we need to talk to Sen. That's it, Sen.
Sen and Neff.
Yeah. As you lot head back towards the mercenary quarters, another hour of walking through the town, pushing through the crowds, coming through the guard quarters or past the guards gate. They kind of eye you lot up as you go through. You kind of see a slight distraction going on in the background as you turn around and see shouting and yelling as someone seems to be freaking out in giant, saying something like, "I'm not a woman," and screaming that at the top of their lungs, and a few other things that kind of, in the distance, don't really catch your attention, but the loud shouting and animals surrounding the individual in the background, all the way back at the T-junction that you had come from. As you look back, the guards seem to go and grab the person that's shouting and seem to arrest him, taking him through a gate that pops up, and as the group from earlier that Melvin you immediately recognize seems to head off on their wagon pulled by a suspicious-looking wolf.
Do I see
Hit the
any
wrong
of them
button.
their full features?
Go ahead, Melvin.
I would like to put my arcane mark on the back of their cart.
Okay. Yeah, as you do so, passing by them before this happens, you put your arcane mark on it and continue on your way without them noticing. What were you gonna say, Aldrin, as well?
Do I get a good look at all of them?
As you look back, do see the largest of the shortest of the bunch that looks to be a very effeminate looking. Though you pick up immediately that it's a man, a male giant that looks to be a fire giant of some sort, though very short at 9 feet tall compared to the rest of their compatriots, which seem to be in the roughly above 20 feet each. Most of them basically at the same height as Zebril himself when he's in his full form. You lot notice that the one leading the cart that you get the most eye on seems to be just a normal looking giant minus the kind of winter clothing that he's wearing, and then one that catches your attention that really gets a good look of is the green skinned fire giant, which really sticks out to you for some reason as you kind of see this passing by.
I will commit all their appearances to memory.
Okay. As you do so, continuing on your way, you lot come to the gateway, or the gate, heading into the mercenary quarters. You see as the tents have been kind of circled up and moved about, a large table being held in the middle, as Neff seems to be giving a little bit of a spiel to his captains, who will be for the fight to come, as you lot enter into the camp. A few other mercenary camp groups seem to have kind of popped up amongst the camp as you start to see other flags amongst their numbers.
I walk up to the closest mercenary.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, would you happen to know where Neff is at the moment?
The Toth wearing like light leather and carrying a really grotesque looking staff with some sort of abominable creature on the top of it. That looks kind of like Melvin, but a little bit more like grotesque and kind of bloated. As they look at you, they go. They point over to the the circled up tents in the clearing and go. My understanding is the captains are meeting. Good luck.
Then I probably should not be bothering them.
Yeah, it's open to anyone. I just don't want to go over there and listen. I got yelled at last time we went over there. I think it's because, and as he's about to finish that sentence, he suddenly squawks really loudly, and it's all ear-piercingly like loud as he does this right in your face. As he finishes up, he goes, "That's why."
Oh. I
Can't-
see.
Can't stop it.
Are you like part chicken?
He looks at you, and as he's about to speak, he does it again right into Dutz' ears, right in Dutz' face, and goes, no, I got smacked on the head on the battlefield at some point, and ever since then, I've been able to do it. The cool thing is, though, sometimes in the middle of me casting spells, it does a cool effect. You want to see?
Not up close.
I'd rather not.
Oh, I don't know. Suit yourself. As he kind of turns and heads back towards his tent.
Show
I'm
me on the
looking around
battlefield.
for a 10-foot giant.
What was that, Gygax?
I'm looking around for a 10-foot giant.
As you look about, you do see the 10-foot giant kind of sitting amongst the circle of people talking in the camp. As he's kind of seems to be sitting off to one of the corners, looking as if he's not really paying attention and kind of poking away at his amulet on his belt.
I walk up to him.
Yeah, Melvin and Dutz, as you're kind of standing there talking to this this Toth, Gygax sleeps away off to the side, heading into the encirclement, listening to the discussion of tomorrow or the coming battle. As he walks over to Sen, who's kind of just laying there or sitting on the grass, kind of not really paying attention as he pokes at the necklace with the little crystal in the center of it.
I gotta say, not a giant.
No, Sen is a troll. Yeah,
He's a troll.
yeah.
He's tall.
He
Compared
is
to me,
he-
giant.
He is a giant. Yeah.
Giants are minimum like 12 foot. They're much taller.
He's 10 foot, 12 foot. I'm 2 foot. I don't see the difference.
Gygax also probably wouldn't know.
Yeah, Gygax can't probably tell the difference at this point, as he hasn't seen many trolls outside of the ones he's eaten.
When I get up to him, I poke his thigh. Hey, Sen.
Huh? Oh. Hey.
Remember when we did that goblin thingy?
Uh-huh.
How many amulets did you collect?
6.
Can we have 4 of them?
I sold
Please?
5
Oh.
because that's kind of mercenary work. If no one else goes for the loot, it's kind of the person who rips its, stuff.
I understand, but we didn't know, and, well, Dutz really wants one, and I figure the rest of our party should have one, too.
Well, I mean,
Where can I get them?
Neff has an extra that he's not using. You could probably make a deal with him. He got it for free, so.
Okay, I'll walk off to Neff.
As you turn around and walk over to Neth, who's in the middle of giving a full battle explanation, walking these very irritated-looking mercenary captains, and Neff, who does not look like he's having any more fun time trying to explain to these people who are used to being in charge what orders they're taking and where to be, as they're trying to be integrated into his own unit.
For the 3rd time, charging the gate is not going to work. We're all gonna die.
Ultimus popping up in the background going, but a catapult with a turtle on it! We might be able to do something with that!
I told you we shelved that one. If we need it, we can do it.
As Neff, you feel, Gygax, how are you approaching Neff?
I'm walking right up to his side, and just like I did to Sen, I poke him in the thigh.
Yeah,
What?
Neff, as you look down, you see Gygax kind of in his little mimic form looking up at you.
Not a great time, Gygax. What do you need?
I was told you have amulets. I would like one, please.
A minotaur in full plate looks over and goes, "Hey, shoo off your talking luggage. We're talking what's going on here. We don't need them bothering us unless he's some mercenary captain. I don't even care that you're giving orders."
I size up the Minotaur.
You've been fighting with this guy most of the day. He's about as capable as most of your average men. His mercenary company, though, is quite numerous, about 500 strong, and they're all about as capable as he is. He just seems to be slightly stronger than the average of his group. Most of them, though, are minotaurs. Yeah. Most also, as you've kind of caught on, are about as bright as a dull bulb.
Here, guys, I'll make a deal with you for the amulet after, right?
But Deuce wants it now.
He doesn't need it now. And he's gonna go back. Neff's gonna go back to talking to the captains.
As you kind of look back at them on the board and start moving the pieces about, they go back to talking strategy as the Minotaur kind of eyes up Gygax and like kind of gives him a mean mug as Gygax moves about. Where are you going, Gygax, as far as this goes? What are you doing?
26 of my feet pick up dust at Neff as I walk away.
As you kick up dust, Neff, you feel some rocks and some grass kind of hit your leg as you watch Gygax kind of storm off.
Ignore it.
Gygax, as you do return back to the party, Dutes, as you see Melvin, as you see Gygax kind of walking up, you can't help but notice that Minotaur who a moment ago seemed to have spoken up aggressively and loudly, though not catching the whole conversation, kind of seems to be eyeing you lot up now with like a sneer on his face.
I wave.
God damn it, Melvin.
I just tilt my head slowly at him, confused. I've never seen a Minotaur before.
He kind of glares and goes back to paying attention as Neff seems to kind of like slam the board, trying to get his attention to look down at the what's going on. As the conversation amongst the captains starts to get heated, you lot kind of get the impression you're not much welcomed amongst them right now. What would you all want to do?
I go talk to Doots.
Yeah.
Yes, Gygax?
So Neff has an extra amulet that we're looking for, or you're looking for, and I figure the rest of us would need one. But Neff said I can come back later and talk to him about maybe getting the amulet for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll probably talk to him about what the lady at the shop said about her granddaughter too at the same time.
True, two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I forgot to do it when I was there.
I think now is probably not the best time. They are discussing strategy.
It's as you say that, dude. You kind of start to notice as a few of the captains start to get angry and glare, and start to turn and walk off. You watch as the meeting starts to slowly disperse. Neff looking not in the best of moods as he kind of turns back and starts talking to Sen and Ultimus.
When they leave, the party would see him flip the board slowly, and they see a few words. How to let the other mercenaries die and not to die ourselves.
Yeah.
And it goes away.
As the lot kind of work on that, you see as the meeting clears up, allowing you free roam as Neff kind of finishes up talking with Ultimus and Sen. Ultimus and Sen kind of disappearing. You see as Ultimus vanishes into the shadow a very evil and nefarious looking smile as he giggles into the background.
Perhaps now, or perhaps later would be a better time.
But the meeting's over, so now would be a good time, wouldn't it?
Yes, but I don't think the date would go very well if Neff is in a bad mood.
But it's good news. It might make him feel better.
Neff, I say, Neff, as you see this party's just kind of awkwardly standing there. They keep looking back at you and then like talking amongst themselves as they stand there.
Neff's just gonna sigh again. Do you need something?
Yes, Was wondering if we can work out a deal for that amulet, extra amulet you have.
Oh, he'll pull the one off his side. Yeah, the
Yeah.
plus one. Yeah. I don't need it. I know market price like 2,000. Do you want to? Market price is about 2,000. I don't need it. Ultimus didn't want it. Call it like 1,000 gold.
I hand you 1,000 gold.
All right. Yeah.
Oh,
Yours.
and Neff,
Yeah.
let me get my notes ready. So Uskanar from the Kinky Buckle, she said her granddaughter really fancies you and wants to go on a date with you.
Do I know this chick?
Yeah, you'd also know that she has chased every sword that she can, and no one's wanted her so far.
She fancies everyone.
Yeah, but she said she wants to go on a date with you, and Uskanar would be really happy if you went on a date with her. Really happy if you went on a date with her.
I imagine Gygax grows out some eyebrows to just enunciate that.
I can't just do what she's. I have to marry for prestige at some point as a noble. I can't just.
Can't you just go on a lunch date with her?
That's not what she wants.
What does
I
she
didn't
want?
say that's what she wanted. Uskanar just said a date. Just go on a lunch date with her.
What Gygax is failing to tell you is she offered to give us a discount if you would.
Neff, if you are willing, I can take up your appearance. I just need to know a little bit more about you so I can play you off better.
I'm gonna be honest. Nothing against you. I saw what happened in the square. Do not trust you to look like me. Gonna be honest.
Understandable.
How much of a discount is she offering?
50%.
I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm even entertaining this idea.
How about this? If you go on a date with her, I'll do you a favor.
Like DM, just when they enter, that's just a thing. I guess I'll ask a question in return.
As DM is rolling tons of dice. DM is not rolling tons of dice. There's not a rock carrying a rock that's screaming like a rock.
No, but that typing in the background, you and Neff, that's what's as bad as you rolling tons of dice.
I
cannot confirm or deny whatever is going on. I understand. So, Neff, I'll do you a huge favor if you please just take her on a lunch date. Because it's for me and Melvin getting a lot better armor on a 50% discount. And we might be able to actually add more for Doots and Tuntun as well, even though Tuntun doesn't really wear armor. Well, I mean, he does. He has a helmet.
Yeah, for reference, basically a woman of her rank would be identical to if a knight, like a knight's wife, attended court in an empire or kingdom. She holds a lady in waiting title because she has relations with someone that is high enough rank that they have to give her a position.
Okay. Neff will kind of rub his head and just say, she gives the same discount to everyone, and she just wants me to go on a date with her granddaughter by doing nothing.
Yeah, but she'll give us the discount.
Yeah, but she gives it to literally everyone else. Like, we get a 50% discount just for going.
But she didn't say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're gonna go on the date with the granddaughter?
No.
Well, then will you like go with us so that we can get your discount?
When we have the money, we don't have all the money right now. We need to do a job first.
I don't know. When you want items done, I can just have some of my guys go and with your money and pay for the item half.
Okay, do you also get a discount at the armor store?
I don't know if Neff's ever been to the armor store.
That is the armor store. Is the Kinky
No,
Buckle?
it's the weapons store.
I think Neff would like that guy.
I say also, his mercenary crew is very particular about their swords and weapons, so they brought their own gear as far as it goes for Neff's perspective. They would not have gear made in this city like that.
Our weapons are sacred. We don't buy more weapons ever.
Not buying weapon, improving weapon.
Yeah, they can't do that to our weapons.
Oh.
They improve themselves.
Okay, do you have a job that's worth 30,000 gold for us per person?
I imagine the slight look in Neff's eyes at that amount of gold to mention for a single job.
I want to look at something first. I know it's in our PMs. Where is the highest paying mission he's done, which is him killing a enemy raid captain? I don't think it even paid 30.
That was 10,000 gold pieces you made off of a single captain. Yep.
I killed a captain of a raiding party and got 10,000. I don't think you're getting 30,000 per one mission.
Do you have 120 raid captains that need to be killed?
I'm sure somewhere. They're not going to be in the same place, and I don't know where.
Actually, it'd only be 12 raid captains we need.
You see, as these shadows kind of start to expand behind Neff, as Ultimus kind of appears out of them, smiling and giggling nefariously, slightly a little wet with something, though with the clouds and the shade in the sky, it's kind of hard to tell what exactly it is. But the smell alone gives off you smell the odor of death on Ultimus as they suddenly kind of start basking in the rain slightly. They smile over at you a lot and go, I brought you something, and they pull out a little note journal object and hand it over to Dutes. These are the quests that old crone lady that was giving you guys problems was hiding up in her shop. I took one of each of them to make your lives a little easier.
Thank you.
Also, I stole one of her bottles of liquor as he smiles and pulls out a giant or a small bottle of a brown liquid and starts drinking it.
I hope that doesn't come back to bite you in the ass.
Surprisingly, it won't. I doubt they even notice Ultimus.
How hard is it to capture a Mist Veil Hound, pup?
Capturing's the hard part. It's the killing's easy. The only thing about them is they jump in and out of well, I don't know what you call. Wizards call it something like plane existence or something of that sort. They can jump to some other place, and then you can't hit the damn bastards. Killing them is the easy part, but they can pretty much jump out of any cage you can come up with.
Oh, what about the Ironhide Armadillo?
Well, simple.
Big creatures, strong armor, but
they're long
and live alone.
Yep. Well, except for mating season.
Except for mating season.
When's
Is it mating season?
Well, next month actually. You say it's funny you say that.
So if you want to do Ironhide Armadillo hunting, I suggest you do it now.
I don't
Wait.
Captain, I don't even think they can make it to the armadillos before the season will start, and then you'll be dealing with herds of the bastards. Which, in all fairness, if you're looking to make a good payday, I mean, if you can, a herd of them is a good amount of money if you can figure out how to kill them. I tried leading them off a cliff when Neff wasn't paying attention to make some side money on one of our weeks off, and turns out the buggers are pretty strong. 140-foot drop, not a single one died, not even a bruise on them. Oh, also I lost your favorite net during that. But don't worry, I replaced it and you didn't notice. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Is Ultimus kind of nervously takes 2 steps away from Neff.
I'm gonna be honest, this is the least of the problem. I don't care right now.
Oh,
Or-
and huh?
Neff, can I just borrow money from you?
How much money do I have on Neff right now? I mean, I guess so. Most of my money goes towards supply, especially for the coming siege, but depends on what you need, I guess.
Could always take a loan at the Gold Standard Company.
I need 4,000 platinum pieces.
You see Ultimus go slightly white at that.
If I had that much, I wouldn't be here.
Ultimus looks at Neff and goes, I think we'd be on a nice warm beach, no people around, and nothing but as much food as we can eat in a small village to ourselves. I wouldn't want to be jumping over and climbing up walls and getting myself cut up and attacked and brandy thrown at me as Ultimus kind of wipes off a little bit of some sort of dark liquid off their fur.
If we had that much money, we'd already be building the city.
At
I look at dudes. What's a hobgoblin?
Bigger goblins. They're usually taller, happen to have the complexion of red skin occasionally, more militaristic.
They lead tribes
Oh.
of goblins.
Okay. So we just go goblin hunting then for days and days and days.
Ultimus looks at you and goes, well, you technically only have 5 days left. You're joining us on the mission to scale the walls, which that'll pay. I believe Greg's Martom is agreed. Well, from what Neff says, as you see Ultimus's eyebrows go up slightly at that, we're all getting paid around 4,000 gold pieces apiece. However,
And
that's only if we live.
That's also not counting if you kill anyone important.
And it also doesn't count if we lose. If we lose, well, then we're not getting paid.
Well, with our job, if we lose, we're going to be gone.
I mean, why don't we, try to kill some goblins for now, and actually remember to collect the things from their body?
There's a large
Yeah.
horde of bodies in the forest just south of here that just got left there. I mean, there might be still some burnt bits in there you can go sift through.
And goblins do sometimes, if an elder's nearby, bury their people, so you might find more living goblins. Maybe.
It's true. Although that big fella that was there, the big fish I was hoping would come after y'all, he didn't come, so I think he moved on. Oh, Neff, good news. The masked elder did not attack us, so I wanted to make sure to report that if I forgot to add that as part of the report.
I imagine if he did attack you, well, most of you wouldn't have come.
But I would have had a new staff.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, don't you collect things from the things you kill? Well, actually, never mind. I guess you've answered that question with what I saw during our last mission.
The elders, like many other powerful monsters, have very powerful items they carry that are worth a lot of money.
I'm not a caster, but I can use it to do the shadow thing. As you see, Ultimus kind of flutters their hand, and a black blast of strange and stringy arcane energy explodes from their hand in tendrils. As it does so, it dissipates. Melvin, immediately upon seeing this, you recognize this as the same kind of magic that hurt Think. This is the same magic you didn't recognize earlier.
And it's coming off of Ultimus?
Yes, he just who just cast some sort of spell in their hand with it.
I'll make note of that to Doots, and, well, I guess Gygax can hear it too, so both of them.
Okay. Ultimus kind of smiles as they put away the spell and go, those items are very helpful for expanding casting, but they're better for trophies. I managed to convince Neff to buy me one of these, and he goes digging into his bag of holding on his side, and he pulls out a little pale eye souvenir of it, like paint, like a little a stone that has been kind of carved into the same design of it. As Ultimus smiles and goes, I heard the Anvil took it out recently, so I wanted to get a mini figurine made of the creature out as soon as I could. I'm gonna put it right next to my others.
Okay.
But if you're going out
How-
goblin hunting, go south. Go ahead, dudes.
No, never mind. So go south.
Can I search
do we
around
have-
this real quick?
Search my what?
Can I just search around us real quick, like in the nearest 50 feet?
Yeah. Are you looking for goblins specifically?
Nope.
Okay. What are you looking for? Oh.
Never mind.
Okay.
I
I mean,
don't see any flowers.
oh, if you're no, you don't see any flowers amongst the muck and the mercenary quarters. There's not much color around the area either, as you look about with the drabness. Ultimus kind of looks over at Neff, now slightly soaking wet and seeing Neff even more wet as Ultimus had disappeared for a bit. Kind of looks back at you lot and goes, "If you're done, I think the captain needs to get his rest, and we need to plan for something. And I also need to tell him about the other losses we kind of had. And Captain, about this wine I've liberated.
I would just get in the tent and explain.
But please enjoy a fine glass of wine first before we talk about any of this. If you know, as you hear them disappear, as the two of them disappear into Nev's tent, you can hear the arguments and some things being thrown and flying, some screaming. But otherwise, the two seem to the conversation seems to die down over the storm. You lot being left in this muddy field, kind of standing by yourselves. The mercenary quarters now filled with multiple other mercenary companies now kind of stuck about. What do you lot wanting to do? It is starting to storm and rain down.
I wanted to get some intel on how far south and what should we expect, like how many goblins.
There are other
How about
mercenaries.
we can go to the chow line and eat, and we can ask people.
There's also no way that my mercenary doesn't have at least a couple maps laying around.
Yeah, let's head into the chow line and see if we can find one of those maps.
Yeah, as you head into the mess hall, you can finding the very large tent that has been set aside. The loud half elf, half giant Clifton with his name kind of stitched onto his white uniform, his chef's uniform, shouting and yelling at minotaurs twice his size as you watch him grab one by the horn and throw him towards a table without even a second thought. Turning and cutting up random bits of meat and vegetables as he tosses things together. You see the long line has lycanthropes, minotaurs, orcs, kobolds, a small group of rakshasa that kind of keep eyeing up Melvin, but kind of giggling as they do as he makes eye contact with them. Otherwise, the line seems to be quite full as you lot kind of find yourselves in it. Is there anything you want to do while you're in line, or are you just kind of wait through and see if you can find a table with one of the lycanthropes to talk to?
Yeah, I'll wait and see if I can find a table.
Okay. As you guys kind of go through the line, getting up to the front, Clifton looks over at you. His large ape-like arms that seem to be more gorilla-like than still transformed, but yet the rest of him looking to be still of his elven features, looks over at you and smiles and goes, "All right, I got slop and I got no slop. The no slop doesn't have meat in it. What do you want?"
Yes, please. I hold up a tray.
I like you. You get double the serving as you hear like 4 scoops go in, and you hear the groans from some of the people in the back. He looks at the rest of you and goes, "It is slop or no slop."
I'll take slop.
I will take slop.
He nods as he puts it in. You see this a beautiful orange liquid kind of poured over a piece of meat that seems to kind of brown the liquid as it goes over it. Little bits of vegetables mixed into it. It smells of some sort of like steak stew as it kind of emanates from it. It's warm and inviting in this cold stormy weather as you start to hear lightning. You start to see lightning and hear thunder in the distance kind of crackling off as you guys find a table. A large lycanthrope that looks to be like more mule-like, kind of sitting there chewing on the heavy vegetable, looks over at you as you kind of sit at his table. He kind of transforms back into a like Rakshasa-like, but with a bit more brownish feet and hair and a bit more of a square-like head, and looks over at you lot and goes, "Name's Rolf. What can I do you for?"
I'm looking to get some intel on the goblins to the south.
Well, I mean, I captained Nif's secondary unit. I can tell you what I know. A half a day's journey south, there's a burnt camp, an army that was decimated by Ultimus's scouting unit. Really impressed most of the men around here. We don't know who was capable enough of taking out an entire army by himself, but there were thousands of corpses when we came through that forest. Beyond that, about another week's journey south is where the elders make their camp, from what we've learned. And then, I don't know, probably a half day southeast, maybe a day southeast, you'll probably find a large hobgoblin vanguard camp that's been sitting around. Though I'd be careful. They're known as the Ironhide Riders. They ride those Ironhide armadillos into battle. So there's I don't know, maybe a unit of like 30 of them that they're pretty well known. They killed 2 of my men already when we ran into them. God, that was an earful Neff gave me that I didn't need to hear. It's not like I didn't have to go and figure out what to do with their swords after that. Now, what else you want to know? You looking for maps? You looking for fucking ears, information, what?
Maps, yes.
I got a map of their local camp. It kind of digs through. Give me a moment. As he kind of starts digging about, he kind of points towards on the map a large like cliff area that seems to be set up with some a high area or high ground. He points to about a half day's march southeast of the area and shows you the more detailed map he has, and points out this hill where the hill goblins have kind of set up their encampment. He goes, I got a wizard of some sort, some caster that can shoot off balls of fire and other such with ease as he sits in the center of the camp. He's the linchpin. You take him out, the rest of them usually will panic, I'm betting. But don't let it fool you. They're not pushovers, these hobgoblins. They know what they're doing. I know Greg's Marotom's got a bounty on their head for 5,000 gold pieces each, so...
And how
I
far
turned to
away
look
was
to-
that?
Day and a half southeast, is what he said. Or sorry, half day southeast. My apologies. As I'm checking my notes, make sure, yeah, half day. Is there anything
Yeah,
else?
Let me think.
He nods as he scoops more food into his mouth and starts chewing obnoxiously.
I ask him, do you know where we can find Rosmium, Lesmium, or Lemblium?
Few weeks, 3 weeks probably. East of here. What? West. My apologies, west. As he thinks for a second. 3 weeks west, about maybe a week north. Past the river, though you'll be going right into the war front. My advice is I wouldn't go there until we've moved our unit forward after the siege. Once we take the city, you can go there without issue. There shouldn't be any more troops, but otherwise, wouldn't head that way until then. There's been fighting over in those areas, and we caught a small group of these things called Zill down in the area. There's about 25 of the bastards. Caught us by surprise. We wiped out a good bit of them, but a few of them escaped. We don't know where they ended up. They nasty bastards. They bite into you, and when they get you down, and they paralyze you and start sticking their eggs inside of you to basically let the creatures feed on you while you're alive. Horrendous way to go.
Sounds horrendous.
You're better off chopping your own head off at that point and hoping that they'll kill you. He kind of takes another bite of the stew and drinks his cup of mulled wine. As he looks over at Melvin and goes, "You gonna eat that?"
Yeah. And I just kind of eat the whole plate in one go.
Devouring the wooden plate and whole with it. He kind of looks at you and kind of just shakes his head and looks back over at Dutz and goes, "You want to know anything else?"
Do you happen to know what killed the goblins?
The ones that were burned in the Inferno? I don't know. I think my bet was a dragon, but to be fair, well, one of my troops said it was a fire-spitting turtle is what he saw. I haven't seen no turtle spit fire, so unless it was some wizard turtle, or some poor wizard that got turned into a turtle, I don't know how the hell it was spitting fire.
That'll be all from me. Thank you.
He nods and goes, "Hey, be careful out there. I hear the other mercenary camps groups aren't really doing too well with our camp, so keep close to the camp for the night."
Seems tensions are high. Will do.
He nods. It was ever since that damn necromancer came into camp. And kind of leans back in his chair as he gets up to clear his plate.
The necromancer came into camp?
He turns to you as he's like halfway stood up and goes, I caught him. I was gonna tell Neff about it, but I figured since it's another mercenary, it's none of our business. Weird fella. Name's Tovney or some weird thing, something like that. He says he's joining up, or he came with us to, not with us, but came with this mercenary group he was with to join up with some church that he met here in town. I don't know. Weird fella. Had some, I watched him playing with a bunch of bones, and I had a staff made of, like, what I assume is some giant thigh bone. If he's not a necromancer, I'll eat my hat. As you look up and see no hat on the creature. Or individual.
Okay. I will keep this in mind.
He nods. Goes, freaky bone worshippers. I'll wear that weird armor. Ugh. Nasty beggars. I don't know. You think I should tell Neff about it as he looks back as he finally gets his leg out from around the bench?
I mean, you might want to at least give him a heads up.
It's probably nothing, though. I'll tell you what. You guys investigate it for me. You let me. If you see anything that's worth talking about, I'll go let Neff know. If it's, I don't want to worry about something else. I mean, Ultimus managed to end up losing the guy's favorite trident last week. I'm not gonna put any more anger on Neff. I mean, like that trident was one that he ended up getting as a trophy for killing some water creature. I don't think we want to piss him off anymore. You know, so if you all find out anything, you come talk to me. He goes, otherwise, let's keep this between the two of us.
All right.
He kind of nods as he goes. He kind of steps away to go clear. Kind of finally finish clearing his plate and dropping it off. And heads out of the camp or heads out of the quarter or the tent.
I will finish my bowl.
All right. As you do, it's quite warming, relaxing you lot. If you had any exhaustion points, they would be removed. As you feel the warmth come over your body, kind of calming you, pushing away any nerves or anxiety you may have had from the day, as the storm continues to get worse and worse outside. As it does so, you all, as you're kind of finishing up your meal, hear the loud, shrill scream of an effeminate person coming from the gate. As a couple of the mercenaries seem to laugh, looking over at the tent as some other mercenaries go rushing out. People seem to be somewhat in a panic, but others seem to be not fazed in the slightest. What do you guys like to do?
So I'll go check it out.
Melvin and Gygax, are you chasing after?
Yep.
Alright, Gygax.
I'm following, licking my tray clean.
Yeah, as you lick your tray clean, tossing, Dudes and Melvin running past, and as you're exiting the thing, tossing it up in the air, Gygax, finishing wiping off the last crumb, landing it on the tray table as you turn to run after the rest of the group. The three of you go jutting up the street, and as you get to the gatehouse, you see as a bunch of skeletal-like creatures seem to, in what looks to be full skeletal armor, seem to start stabbing and attacking people within the city. As you start to notice a woman that you can't help but have a slight smile across your face as you recognize the innkeeper from earlier. The obsidian kobold going down under a pile of skeletons. As the guards kind of like start to stop you guys, you see his Tun is already at the gate trying to shove through to get in on the action as he shouts Tun and tries to move the guards out of his way. As you guys come to the gate, seeing this scene, that is where we're gonna end as the stormy night continues on. We thank you all for watching, and we hope we see you next time.